How to give you access. Do you have access? Let me
For
see.
what?
To let people in? I think I can just do it. I think it's
Hmm, not sure though.
okay. All good. I
Ah,
think we're good to go. Give it. All right, all right.
Hello.
What's up, Jen? Good evening.
I am pumped and wide awake, which is crazy considering, my bedtime comes up
I
soon.
know we're all wired, but it's for a good cause. I'm excited for this. We're all excited. So cool. We'll give it a couple minutes for some people to roll in. We have a ton of content to go through, and my number one goal is to make sure that everyone here walks away with a ton of value, learning a ton of things around health, mindset, cortisol metabolism, which we're all really passionate about here. So super excited to kick things off. I think we got a couple people joining. Cool. I just want to make sure that we are all set. Cool, cool, cool. Let's do another minute or so, and then we'll jump in because we have no time to waste here. Cool, Jen, do you see my screen? Is the deck up and everything?
Yep, I see it.
Cool, cool. All right, this is recorded as well. So everyone who's attending this, you guys will get a copy of the doc as well as the recording. So appreciate everyone jumping on. Let me make sure that I have all the participants ready to go. Cool. I think we can rock and roll. It's already 6:05 here. So awesome. What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's masterclass. Okay. If you're not just a nurse, but if you're a woman who's been on their health journey, whether you're eating healthy, you're doing your cardio, maybe you're even tracking your calories, you're eating your protein, but you still can't seem to lose that, what we call that stubborn belly fat, or you're just feeling bloated, or you just don't have the energy that you know you once had in your 20s. This session is going to change the way you look at your body and metabolism forever. Okay. We work with a ton of nurses every single day who tell us the same story. I'm doing everything right, but nothing changes, right? It's not your fault. That's the first thing. The truth is, your body isn't broken. Okay. I know as we get into our 30s and into our 40s, like everything starts to change. It's not what it once was when we're in our teens and our 20s. But most of the time, you're stuck in this stress cycle that most traditional weight loss plans completely ignore. So, the next 60 minutes, I'm going to show you how to finally, number one, reset your hormones, to lower your cortisol, get your metabolism working with you again so you can actually lose the last 15 to 20 pounds in 12 weeks without giving up your favorite foods. We know Thanksgiving and the holidays coming around, and I'm a big foodie, so you know damn well I'm not giving up my favorite foods or spending long hours just doing cardio. Like who likes to do that, right? We're also going to show you the exact two-step cortisol reset method that we've used with over 100 nurses who have gone through our program who now feel confident in their scrubs, they're energized for their 12-hour shifts, and they finally feel like themselves again. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's jump on in. Cool. Now, before we jump into the good stuff, I just want to give a heads up because I always like to reward people who commit and show up fully. There are so much people that sign up for this masterclass, but not everyone is showing up. So for everyone who stays until the very end of this training, I'll put together a gift. All right, it ain't even Christmas yet, but I'm gonna be Santa tonight. We're gonna give an exclusive package worth over, honestly, this is worth over $800, and we're giving it away to our live attendees here. So what's included? Number one is our metabolic assessment consultation audit. Okay, this is a private one-on-one with me. We'll map out what's going on with your metabolism, your cortisol patterns, and we'll build out a personalized 90-day game plan for you. Okay, that's the first gift. Next is our Shift Nurse Stress Relief Guide. We're going to give you real recovery tools to lower your cortisol shifts, even when life's chaotic. Okay. Just some really practical stuff. Okay. We're also going to give away our two-step cortisol reset protocol guide. This is the same exact method that we use with our nurses in our program to melt stubborn belly fat and what we call fat face. Okay. That's a $200 value. You'll also get our metabolism boosting cheat sheet where we'll show you exactly how to fuel your metabolism. So that way your body can actually burn body fat. So that way we turn your body from a Civic into a Ferrari engine. Okay. And then finally, we'll give you our Tone It Up workout guide for busy shift nurses. Okay. These are short, powerful workouts that are built for nurses who don't have a lot of hours to spend in the gym. So you can actually do this at home 3 times a week, 30 minutes. That's $150 value. Okay. So all of this is going to be completely free just for being here live. So congratulations. Okay. I'm going to show you exactly how to claim everything when you get to the end. So just stick with me. I know it's kind of in the evening. So grab your dinner, grab your drink, whatever it is. I promise this is going to be the most valuable hour you'll spend for yourself this week. Cool. Now, before we go into any deeper, I just want to make sure that you guys are here for the right reason. Okay. So if you're here, you're pretty much in this, part of the season where health really matters. Okay. So this is exactly for women, like I mentioned, in their 30s, 40s, and of course, my nurses, because this is the age where like your metabolism starts to respond a little differently. Okay. Maybe the old strategies that you use in your 20s stop working. Okay. And your lifestyle doesn't give you the luxury of guessing anymore, right? We work, we got family, we got obligations. We don't have time anymore. Okay. Or maybe you're the person who's amazing at taking care of everybody else, your patients, your family, your kids, even your partner. But when it comes to your own health, it keeps getting pushed to the bottom of the list. Not because you don't care, but because you're just exhausted. You're stretched thin. Okay. And no one ever taught you how to build a plan that works with your lifestyle. So that way we can tend to everybody around us, including ourselves. Okay. This is also for those who've tried all the typical things. Okay. Maybe you've tried cutting out carbs. You're going harder in the gym because you're like, you know what? I just need to push harder in the gym. I'm just not motivated. Or maybe you're trying a new trendy diet that you've seen on TikTok, on Instagram, or maybe they worked for a little bit. Maybe you lost a couple pounds, but it doesn't stick. Like I said, it's not your fault. You've just been trying to fix a metabolic and hormonal issue with surface level strategies. And so if you're here tonight, it probably means you're tired of the back and forth. You're ready to prioritize your health in a way that's smarter. Because I'm not about just working harder. I want to work smarter, a way that's more sustainable, and something that's actually realistic for your life. Not a plan that expects you to quit your job or change careers or spend 3 hours a day to be a bodybuilder, right? Or like the influencers that we see, that's all they do is that they just have to be fit. No, or eat chicken and broccoli forever. Hell no. I used to do that. I'm never going back. Okay. So if that sounds like you're in the right place. Okay, cool. Now, let's be real. Let's just be honest real quick, okay? Because we're no bullshit here. Maybe your health didn't slip because you're lazy or unmotivated, right? It slipped because life gets heavy, okay? Between excelling in your career, adulting, maybe you're showing up for your patients, maybe you're managing your home. You got laundry to do, right? You got kids. You also have a partner to tend to, right? But your health naturally takes a back seat. That's not uncommon for us to hear. And it's not because you didn't care, it's just because you're just so busy. Okay. And the truth is, most of us didn't grow up with the best example of what healthy even looks like. Okay. I come from an immigrant household. I watched my family, I watched my mom and my aunts when they want to lose weight, they cut out rice. They start eating bok choy. They just start skipping meals or trying like a crash diet, whether that's keto, intermittent fasting. They never learned about metabolism. Okay. All we did was we learned about restriction. So as we become adults, right, we're trying to build habits that we were never taught in the first place. So fast forward to now, you're exhausted, you're tired, the weight's starting to pack on every year. You're having low energy and you're trying to push through with maybe slamming caffeine, that Celsius, and you're trying to juggle a career that demands so much from you, right? So the result of trying to thrive in a system that was never designed and optimized for you, for your hormones and your metabolism, is the reason why your health has taken a back seat. And we're going to unpack that together. Okay. Now, you might be like, who am I to talk, right? Before I even became a coach, I firsthand saw what burnout looks like. Okay. This lovely, beautiful woman here is my mom. She worked in healthcare and she worked long shifts. She's working 10, 12-hour shifts. She took overtime. She actually, at one point, I remember she had three jobs because she had three kids. I was the oldest of three boys here. So I'd see her come home exhausted. Okay. She was always snacking. Her car just had a bunch of snacks. I just never realized why. And she had no sleep. So on her days off, which were her weekdays, because she worked 12s, she'd spend most of her time sleeping. Like that's all I remember growing up. She was just sleeping just to recover. She missed out on family time. Okay. She never actually went to my basketball games. I was in extracurricular. Okay. She never got to make it. Okay. We never really went on vacations. Like maybe once we went to Disneyland. But when I was younger, I didn't understand. I actually I had resentment because all I saw her was short. She was short-tempered. She would snap at us. But I later realized as I got into my adulthood, it wasn't her fault. Okay. She was just running on empty. She didn't have the support. She didn't have the knowledge. Okay. And so fast forward to later in my years, I went to college, I became a trainer. I ended up actually becoming the same version of my mom, which was crazy. I was a coach. I was going to college. I was training hard. I was eating clean. I was doing everything right. But for some reason, I just couldn't maintain. I actually burned out. I became super bloated. I was exhausted. And even looking in the mirror, I actually struggled with a ton of acne for my whole life. And I was embarrassed. I was like, I didn't know what I'm doing. I'm eating, I'm doing everything right, but for some reason my body just wasn't responding. And it hit me that I became exactly like my mom. I was giving everything to everybody. I was trying to, appease everybody, but I wasn't taking care of my health. And that's when I realized that my body was stuck in survival mode. Okay. And so I see that the same thing with our clients, with our nurses. Okay. And that's when it all clicked to me that this wasn't just my mom's story. It wasn't even it's not just my story. It's every nurse's story that we started working with. Okay. And this is the same stress that burned her out at work. And it was the same stress that burned me out and a bunch of other women that maybe you feel as well. Okay. And I included some pictures here of, my mom. This was her seeing me at my first physique competition. And, she went through a crazy long health journey. And now she's on the right. She's doing archery. She does fencing now. She's a lot more fit. She's a lot more healthy and she's learned to have balance. And that's why I'm here today, 6 p.m. on a Thursday to really give you guys the knowledge. Cool. And once I learned how to optimize my metabolism, my hormones, and I was able to do it for everybody else, everything shifted. Okay. My body actually started to respond again. I wasn't starving. I'm able to go out and have, an espresso martini and go out to eat because I love eating. Right. But I didn't need to sacrifice myself. And this is the same thing that happened in everyone around me. So over the last 8 years, I've helped over 500 people do the same exact thing. Now we specialize with nurses and women because your hormones, your stress levels, the shift schedules, right? The crazy lifestyle requires an entirely different strategy than just the generic fitness advice that we hear out there on social media. Okay. So the results that you're seeing, they're going to happen once you finally fix your metabolism and cortisol. Okay. Not because you're working harder or not because you're dieting harder. Cool. Now let's jump into the meat and potatoes here. Okay, so buckle up. Now, here's the hard truth that a lot of people don't realize. You cannot outwork a diet and you can't out exercise a stressed metabolism. Okay, so the old way that we're taught to lose weight, what is it? You guys probably hear most of this, right? Eat less, just exercise more, right? just start cutting out salt. Just do juice cleanse, right? Or maybe do the new keto diet, right? Or honestly, I've heard this so many times. You know what? Let's just accept the weight gain and fatigue is normal, right? We're women, we get to perimenopausal. You know what? We just have to accept this is our body. It's just genetics. No, we can't accept that. The real problem here is that most people, most women actually, only treat the symptoms. Okay. They've never addressed why their body is stressed, inflamed, or puffy or storing fat in the first place. Those are just ways our bodies are telling us something's wrong. That's not the problem. Those are just the symptoms. Okay. So you get into the cycle where you try something extreme, right? Maybe you got a wedding coming up. Hey, it's New Year's. Let's just work hard. Let's just eat less and let's do a bunch of cardio, right? Now you might get the temporary results. You might lose a couple pounds. Cool. But what happens is that your symptoms come back even worse the second time because your metabolism starts slowing down every time you do one of these old way strategies. Okay. And that's why so many women are stuck, not because they're doing it wrong or they're not working hard enough. Honestly, I love working with women because they're the hardest working people. I'm just going to be honest with you, right? But it's the problem is because they've been trying to fix a metabolic issue with surface level solutions. So what do we do now? Okay. And what I've learned, this was a game changer for me. You can't outwork a stress metabolism, right? This is the same thing that so many nurses go through, the long shifts, the sacrifice. Hey, I'll just push through it mindset, but the same exact thing is keeping their body stuck. Okay. Your body doesn't need more cardio. It doesn't need more stricter dieting. What it needs is safety. It needs nourishment. It needs recovery. Okay. And when you start working with your body instead of against it, your hormones naturally start working for you again. You start building confidence in your body again. And that's when everything changes. So the real issue here that we need to start looking at, it's a metabolic issue, or maybe it's a hormonal issue, or honestly, it's a gut health imbalance. Because when you only treat the symptom, aka the weight gain, right? I want to do this exercise that's going to tone up this part, right? Now I know it's important, or I just want to tone up, I just want to do a bunch of crunches, or I just out diet. You're only addressing the temporary relief, okay, and the symptoms. And if you only address the symptoms, it's like you have a sink that's flooded, and all you do is you keep on mopping the wet floor, but you're not opening up your cabinet and seeing that there's a leak in your faucet. That's what we need to do with your body, is that we're not looking at the leak. We're only looking at the floor that's wet and we keep on trying to wipe it. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, what's the new way? The new way is to restore the root cause. This is what we do with our women and our clients that join our program. Okay. Because let's stop chasing the symptoms and start asking, what is my body trying to tell me? Okay. When I'm having weight gain, or maybe I'm puffy and I'm inflamed, what is my body actually trying to tell me? And when we start focus on healing the metabolism, our gut health, our hormones first, that's when things start moving. So that's why it's so crucial to start your health journey now, because the longer you wait, the harder it gets, especially if you keep on trying these restrictive methods. Okay. Now, what happens when you actually start addressing the root cause and finding out the root issue? Fat loss becomes effortless when your metabolism heals. Remember that metabolism that you had in your early 20s or in your teens when you're like, I can crush a bag of hot Cheetos and my body will just process it. Okay, remember that? Or you're gonna start feeling energized, clear-headed, and refreshed. So many of us are looking at the weight loss and not looking at how do we feel, right? Once you start addressing the root cause, less bloating, okay? Periods start feeling better, all right? Mood swing starts to be controlled. Your sleep starts improving, your skin starts clearing up. One thing our clients always tell us that they notice their face start to tone up in the first couple of weeks when they start actually addressing the root cause. Okay. And you also no longer feel guilt and shame around foods and family gatherings because your body is working for you. Cool. Now, this is what happens with weight loss over time. Okay. Now, the black line is what happens when most people try to diet. Okay. What people try to do is they address the symptoms. So they do lose some weight. Okay. Maybe you start at 170 and you diet really hard. You're so motivated, right? You lose some weight, but it's not addressing the root cause. So you then end up bouncing back. So the weight gain comes back, right? But then the second time you do it, because you do the same strategy, you're like, all right, I'm motivated. There's a wedding. Oh my God, I'm going to Cabo. Let's lose the weight. All right, let's jump back on Orange Theory. Let's just jump back on the cardio. That's what worked in the past. You do it, but then you only lose 5 pounds this time. Oh my gosh. And then you bounce back. But every time you bounce back, you gain more weight over time because that's how your metabolism adapts. Now, once you're here, it's very hard to reverse. Okay. We have a lot of clients that come here. Okay. And we're just honest with them. Hey, it's going to take a lot more work, right? So, what we want to do instead is that we put our clients through proper, appropriate weight loss if your body crosses off all these check marks. But once you lose weight, we want to put you in a maintenance period. Okay. So that way your body is healthy, right? We want to maintain that. So then we can lose our next 10 to 20 pounds. Once we do that, same thing, we're going to maintain. So that way, over the next year, the next 5, 10 years, you can actually sustain the weight loss because it's not about losing the weight and redoing again. Who wants to do that? Let's just do it right once. And this is what happens when you actually address your hormones and your metabolism the right way. Cool. I'm gonna give you a simple reset that you can actually do tonight. Okay. Some practical stuff that you can do tonight to help with your metabolism. Okay. Number one, do a 10-minute walk right after you eat. Now, the key is right after you eat. What it's going to do, it's going to help lower your cortisol. It's going to improve your digestion, and it's also going to stabilize your blood sugar. Okay. Start doing that after dinner. Then tomorrow morning, I want you to start your day with 40 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking up. Okay. Honestly, if my mom knew these two things, she could have had more energy and not yell at me the first thing in the morning by the time I didn't even get my pancake in the morning yet. Right. And more time for herself. That's why I'm so passionate about helping nurses and women because you can change your body and your energy without having to change your entire career or give up your life. And it starts with little things like this. Okay. Cool. Now, here's the thing that most nurses miss. Okay. Because honestly, most nurses are doing everything right. They're disciplined, they work hard. I mean, shit, they got through nursing school, right? And they care about other people. But their body has been in survival mode for too long because the HIIT workouts, the orange theories, the eating too little, right? The constant shift stress, the cold blues, right? All of it keeps your cortisol high and your metabolism low. So what you really need isn't another diet or more cardio. You actually need to reset your system. Just like your phone, when it crashes, you need to hit the reset button. Same thing with your body. That's what exactly I'm going to show you today. Our two-step cortisol reset method that's helped hundreds of nurses finally lose 15 to 20 pounds, balance their hormones, and finally feel like themselves again. Okay. All right, let's jump through it. Okay. Secret number one. Why is eating less making you fatter? Okay. And this one is going to completely flip everything that you think you know about weight loss because it did for me. Okay. And I'm going to show you exactly why eating less is actually making you fatter and why this mistake is honestly keeping millions of women stuck in this diet cycle forever. Now, let's start with the biggest myths that's keeping honestly 90% of nurses stuck. Because I talked to a lot of nurses and a lot of women. Okay. Honestly, 9 out of 10 of them are stuck. And these are the reasons why. Okay. Because they've been told to lose weight, you need to eat less and exercise more. That's how you lose weight. It seems logical, right? But why does it only work short term but fail in the long term? Because if it was that was the solution, we would all be fit, right? Okay. But that approach ignores the real driver of weight loss, your hormones and your metabolism. Now, when you're a nurse working 12s, you're working night shifts, you're rushing between patients, you're grabbing that cup of coffee, you're grabbing a bite of that donut in the break room. Maybe you eat 1 or 2 meals a day max. Your body is under chronic stress. Chronic stress leads to elevated cortisol. Okay. And here's the part that no one really explains. when you cut your calories too low, especially below your body's baseline, your body doesn't burn fat. It protects fat. It holds on to fat because your brain thinks you're in danger. It thinks you're in survival mode. So why would it lose its precious energy? Because body fat is just energy. This is called adaptive metabolism or metabolic slowdown. It's just how our bodies protect ourselves from dying. And it hits nurses harder because of the lifestyle that already mimics famine and like starvation. Okay, because they're doing long hours without meals. That's what causes this, okay? Things like sleep deprivation, maybe high adrenaline, where your brain's always wired, but your body's kind of tired, okay? Inconsistent eating patterns. Maybe you're skipping meals and you have weird cravings. You wake up, you're like, oh, why am I craving fried, sugary foods, right? So when you eat less on top of that, your body puts it in survival mode, okay? And then you get more fat storage, more bloating, right? The energy crashes, the stubborn belly fat. And so many nurse moms, honestly, they come to me and they're eating 900 to 1200 calories, thinking they're being disciplined, right? But what's actually happening is their metabolism is stalling and their cortisol is just skyrocketing, okay? And they think something's wrong with them, but really, it's just the wrong strategy, okay? And like I said, weight loss isn't about eating less, it's about eating enough for your metabolism to feel safe. And once your metabolism feels safe, then it burns fat automatically. Okay, cool. Now, here's the truth. Okay, here's some stats, some crazy stats. When you restrict calories too much, especially if you're working night shifts or long 12, 10s and 12, your body doesn't respond by burning more. It actually starts burning less. Okay, your metabolism can slow down by up to 40%. So if you were burning around 1,800 calories before, which is standard, now you're only burning closer to 1,000 calories, even if you're eating clean. Meanwhile, your hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin, they go crazy. When ghrelin spikes, which makes you constantly hungry, and leptin drops, so you never feel satisfied no matter how much you eat. That's why after a late night shift and you hit the Taco Bell drive-through and you're just crushing a bunch of chalupas and you're like, oh my God, it's like my stomach's like this never-ending hole. It's a bottomless hole. That's where so many nurses find themselves snacking constant stress. It's not a lack of willpower. It's just biology. That's just how our bodies work. And the worst part is your body starts to store everything as fat, even from healthy foods, because it thinks you're in survival mode. Okay. Now, let me show you this in real life. This is one of our clients, Chanel. Okay. Chanel's a nurse. She's a nurse practitioner. And she ate exactly 1,000 to 1,100 calories every single day for like 12 months. She was on a keto, even the juice cleanse. She was only eating salads. She was going to berries 3 times a week, and she was throwing in Pilates as well. She wanted to actually just lose weight. She just wanted to feel good. She wanted to feel confident. Okay. But she couldn't lose the weight. Once she joined us and we started working with her and we started catering to her metabolism, we increased her calories up to 1,300 calories. And from the exercise side, we actually scratched her exercise routine. We actually reduced her training. Okay. And she was able to just lose 5 pounds in the first 2 weeks already. Okay. She started getting her energy back up. She started eating more food. She actually started getting better results. This is the power of working with your biology, not against it. Okay. Now, this is the calm method. Okay. This is the foundation for everything we teach. Okay. We created this because a lot of the nurses don't need more intensity. Okay. What you actually need is recovery, rhythm, and a way to make your body feel safe to burn fat again. Okay. The C stands for cortisol reset. Okay. When your stress hormones are high, your body just holds on to fat as protection. So the first step is we need to just reduce this cortisol through proper sleep, nutrition, recovery habits. Okay. The A, active recovery. This is where we actually start reintroducing food strategically so your metabolism speeds back up. Okay. When you eat more of the right foods for your body feels safe, and then it turns into a fat burning machine again. Okay. That's step 2. The L, lifestyle rhythm. This is where we build meal timing in, where we add in workouts and exercise and recovery as a tool around your nurse schedule so you can actually live this lifestyle instead of fighting against it. Okay? This should enhance your lifestyle, not take away from it, right? That's why we're here in the first place. We want to improve our quality of life. And then M is metabolic balance. Okay? This is where we use strategic training and nutrition to reactivate your fat burning hormones for the long run. Okay? So now you can actually eat more and lose weight. Okay? It's about first calming our system so that way it can respond again, then it's not resisting, and then it can actually let go of the stress and the fat. Okay? Cool. Secret number two, right? This is where everything starts to click. This is the fun part. It's called the two-step cortisol reset because this is what's inside the calm method, right? But this is what's going to actually help our nurses lose 15 to 20 pounds in around 90-ish days without extreme dieting or endless cardio, okay? Because here's the truth. Nurses aren't struggling because they're lazy, okay? They're just stuck in that stress mode for so long. And high cortisol shuts down your metabolism. It slows recovery. It's like putting brakes on your body and you're trying to move forward. Okay. So in this section, I'm going to show you the two exact steps that you can take honestly today to flip your body out of survival mode back into thrive mode. Okay. Cool. So step one is all about calming the system. So fat loss switch turns back on. Okay. So some of those focus areas is front loading your protein. Okay. Starting with protein in the first 2 hours of waking. Okay. Having balanced meals throughout the day so that way you can control cortisol. Right. And also backloading carbs towards dinner. Not a lot of people understand that actually carbs, when you intake carbs, it actually lowers your cortisol. So we would time it near bedtime. So that way they can lower the cortisol and they get their improve their sleep quality. So now they can actually burn body fat. Once we fix that first step first, then we can go into step two. This is called the reverse diet to rebuild that metabolism. We need to train your body to burn more calories while eating more. So this is where we walk our clients up with increasing their calories every single week. Okay. We start getting to strength train so they can build muscle, they can build strength, right? This is where we increase their protein. We have strategic refeeds to optimize their hormones. Okay. And we also time carbs because carbs aren't bad. Whoever tells you carbs are bad, okay, they don't have the right information. Carbs are great, but you need to do it properly for your body. And when you feel your body right and you manage cortisol and everything starts changing. Your energy changes, your mood increases, your sex drive actually increases as well. That's another thing we hear from our clients. Okay. And then we start losing body fat. We start getting the confidence. We start fitting back into those jeans from 2020, those true religions. Okay. We start bringing them back out. We start wearing them. That's when everything starts clicking. Okay. Cool. Now let me show you one of our clients, okay? Daphne here. Daphne was a nurse practitioner, okay? When she first came to me, she was defeated. She just opened up. She was like, "Look, Dustin, I'm damn near about to hit 171 pounds. I'm exhausted all the time. Okay. I'm trying everything. I have the class pass. I'm doing the berries, the orange theory, right? I'm doing Weight Watchers. I'm even trying intermittent fasting. She's tried everything. So motivation and discipline wasn't her challenge. And then she was burned out for her long shift. She's like, honestly, I come home from my long shifts. I can't even enjoy my day off with my family. I can't even go out because I'm so tired just recovering. Okay. But after she joined our metabolic burn system, she was able to lose 30 pounds in 5 months. Okay. She went from a size 10 lab coat down to a size 6. Okay. She also had energy after her shifts to thrive and live her life. And she even got her lab work done, and they were damn near perfect. That was one of the most amazing calls that I've had. Okay. And she even said, after she graduated our program, I was hesitant before joining, but I no longer have fear of trying on new clothes or old clothes. Has also boosted my overall confidence, and I now have more motivation that my efforts have finally made a difference. These are some of the foods she's eating because she's Vietnamese and she loves culture food. She's always at her parents' house. And so she's able to eat, she doesn't have to eat chicken and broccoli. Okay. And now she has a better relationship with food. Her energy skyrocketed. And now she's maintaining this effortlessly because her hormones and her metabolism works for her, not against her. Okay. Now, secret number three. This is the last secret here. Okay. This is our metabolic flexibility method. This is an advanced technique that our private clients use when they want to lose those last 10 to 15 pounds. Okay. And that's the difference between someone who just loses weight and someone who transforms their body composition. Because you don't want to just lose weight, you want to have that toned, lean physique. Okay. And so this is how we're going to do it. All right. This is the exact protocol. Okay. 3 days a week, you're going to eat low carbs, around under 100 grams. Okay. This is how you're going to teach your body to burn fat efficiently. And you typically do this on a rest day when you're not working out, you're just hanging out. This is when your body's actually burning body fat. Okay. Now, 2 days out the week, you're going to eat higher carbs, around 150 to 200 grams. That way you can actually reset your metabolism and you keep your thyroid happy. And you're going to place this on training days because you're actually going to use the carbs for your workouts. All right. And then 2 days out of the week, you're gonna eat moderate carbs just for balance. Okay. This is going to keep your body guessing, preventing the metabolic adaptation, and it's going to maintain a muscle while you're burning body fat. So it's literally like you're doing interval training for your metabolism. So now your body doesn't get comfortable and never slows down, and you're actually losing body fat without tanking your energy. This is the secret. Now, here's why doing this on your own is exactly like trying to perform surgery after watching a YouTube video. Okay. Every woman's hormone profile is completely different based on your age. Okay. Your stress levels, your sleep quality, your exercise history, and whether you have metabolic damage from past dieting. Okay. Also, your tolerance, your meal timing, right? Your food choices. We all don't like the same foods, right? This needs to be precisely customized and constantly adjusted based on how your body responds. Because one big mistake that I see all the time is a woman going too low on carbs during a stressful week, which can actually set them back weeks, potentially even damaging their metabolism further. Okay. So if you're actually serious about transforming your body using a science-based approach that's customized specifically for you, then stay until the end because I'm actually going to show you exactly how we can work together to make this your reality. Okay, cool. Now, that was a lot. Okay. You now have the foundations. All right. We went through three things. You understand why eating less sabotages your metabolism. Okay. You know the calm method. Okay. You've seen the metabolic flexibility techniques that we just gave you. But here's what I know about women just like you. You don't want just information here. Because honestly, you can go on ChatGPT and get a shit ton of information. What you really want is transformation. You want a proven system that's going to work and get you results fast. And you might be thinking, right, on this all makes sense, but honestly, how do I put this all together? Like, how do I customize it for my specific situation? Like, what if I mess up, right? That's exactly why we created our signature program. So that way we can give you the complete system, the personalization, and the support to make this work for your body. Okay. Now you have a couple of options to go from here, right? All right, Dustin, what do? I want to start getting the results. Okay. You have three options. I'm going to go through the three options for you real quick. All right. Option one is the hard way. Honestly, you can take all this information that I've shared and you can try to implement it on your own. We're going to give you all the information. Okay. But honestly, if you can find all of this on ChatGPT, you can go on YouTube, and if you dig hard enough, okay, you can probably find the information. You're gonna have to get a fine-tooth comb, you're gonna have to find through it. But it's a lot of work to learn how to build the right habits, unlearn the wrong habits, manage your nutrition, and then the workout portion of it. And then you have to go through the trial and error, right? Just like learning anything, you're gonna have to kind of mess up a couple times, right? Just like cooking a steak, you have to burn it a couple times before you make that juicy ribeye, right? And then build this into a personalized plan. So most women that we talk to, most nurses, start with great intentions, but quickly they get overwhelmed because they're tracking the wrong things, they're focusing on the wrong things, and then they give up before seeing any actual real results. So the downside here is it takes a lot of time, energy, and trial and error. Okay, that's option one. Option two is the expensive way. You can hire a team of experts. You can get an in-person trainer that's going to yell at you, tell you to do your push-ups. You can get then you need a nutritionist, and then you need a therapist, right? Because we all have bad relationships with food, right? Then you need a doctor to talk about your labs, your thyroid, and then you need an accountability coach to make sure that you don't fall off. Okay. The upside is you get the expert guidance. You can get the faster results because you have the experts there. Okay. But the downside is that you have to manage everything. You have to talk to this coach, talk to my doctor, right? And you have to communicate with everyone. It's just going to take a shit ton of time, right? And this is also extremely expensive. Easily, you're spending 3 to 5K a month out of pocket, whether with or without insurance, okay, just to have this team behind you, okay? And it's going to feel like a full-time job just to manage all your coaches. All right. Now, option three, I would call this the smarter approach, the metabolic burn system. Okay. This is where we take everything, the nutrition, the fitness aspect of it, the accountability, the expert guidance, and put it all into one place. So now not only are you saving time because you're going to see results in a fraction of the time that you did if you did options 1 and 2. Okay. And now you don't need to juggle multiple experts or everything by yourself. You can honestly just delegate it. Okay. To Team VP Fit. And it's also cost effective. It's a fraction of the cost compared to hiring every single specialist by themselves. Okay. So think of this as a one size fits all approach. All right. Now, before I share a little bit more juicy benefits of the metabolic burn system, I kind of want to walk you guys through some inspiration and motivation here. Okay. This is Stephanie. Okay. Stephanie, before she came to us, she wasn't a nurse, but she worked in tech. Okay. So she worked in HR, director, high stress job, even though she's kind of in front of a computer most of the time. She struggled with yo-yo weight gain and hip pain. And she told me on her call that she was afraid that she's hitting 40s and she was afraid that she was going to need hip replacement. Okay. She was also working with a nutritionist and a coach at the time. So she was spending 3 to 5K a month on coaches. And honestly, she told me she was afraid to take the next thing because she just felt like her body wasn't responding anymore. Okay. But after she joined the metabolic burn system, we implemented the reset phase first. We actually got her to eat 1900 calories per day. It restored her metabolism. And once her metabolism and her body adapted, she was able to lose weight here. And this is a screenshot of her weight loss here. Okay. We lost our first 5 to 10 pounds. And then we didn't keep losing. We maintained that. So that way she can travel. She traveled to 2 different countries. She went to Brazil this past summer. She was able to wear shorts again that she was been wanting to wear. She was able to wear dresses. She's also a Yelp review master, which was crazy because she just goes to a bunch of food events for free. And then we were able to lose our next 5 to 10 pounds. She hasn't seen this weight since 2020. We just celebrated because she was able to see that weight and just it blew her mind. Now she feels strong, she feels confident, and she actually started dating again as well. She's now in a happy relationship. And that was one thing that she wanted the confidence to do was to live her life, start dating. Now she's in a relationship and she's actually inspiring her partner to eat healthy and move as well. Okay. How cool is that? Okay. Now, what took me 8 years of trial and error to figure this all out, you get it as a proven step-by-step system with expert guidance every step of the way. Okay. So not only are you going to get better results because not only are you going to lose the weight, but you keep it off, you're going to look and feel better. No more crashes. You're going to show up excited to live life again. Okay. And not only that, you're seeing faster results because now you don't need the trial and error. We have a proven system. We work with over 150 nurses in the past 2 years. We've seen every single situation. Okay. And we're also going to make it easier to stick to because now you have freedom, you have enjoyment, you can eat real food. Okay. You can go out, have some mimosas and pancakes. Jen and I, we love mimosas. All right. And then how can we fit this into whether you work night shifts, you work doubles? Okay. How to actually make this personalized for you. And the last thing is, and this is why I'm so passionate and brings me back to my story with my mom, is that we get to break generational habits. By healing your metabolism now, you're breaking the cycle of burnout, crash diets, exhaustion, and you're becoming the healthy role model for your family, your coworkers, your partner, and your patients that they look up to. Once I changed my life, and once I see all of our clients change their lives, everyone around them starts getting healthy. I think that's so freaking awesome. And if you're on this call, there's a calling that you stepped on here for a reason. It's you. You got to break that generational pattern. Cool. Now we have a Black Friday bonus that I'm super excited for. We never do this. And I only do this around honestly this time because I appreciate how badass it is to start your journey now, not wait until January like everybody else. And also the studies show that people who commit to a weight loss a goal right now before New Year's have a much higher success rate. Okay. So we're doing something very sweet and juicy for you today. Because you're attending this masterclass, when you sign up, we'll fully cover the costs of either your gut health testing or your blood work, do hormone testing, whatever one you need, depending on your goals. So that way you don't need to make multiple different appointments. And once we get your results, we're going to work that with you one-on-one. So that way you can actually restore your body and you actually reach your fitness goals. Okay. Now, before I move along here, I just want to be honest and transparent. We can't work with everyone. Okay. We can only take on a limited amount of new clients per month. And the reason for that is because our program is built on personalized attention. We work closely with each and every client to ensure that they're getting the results. This means that if this opportunity is resonating with you, you feel like this feels like me. Maybe you feel like, I'm talking to you. You need to act now because once we hit capacity in the next month, you'll have to wait. And I just want to be clear here. Our prices go up regularly due to demand. So right now you have a chance to lock in this offer at this current rate. So I would hate for you to miss it. Okay. So what to do next? Okay. So if you're on this live call, you can actually book a free metabolic assessment using this QR code. Okay. So all you have to scan it, fill out the quick application. On this assessment, we're going to analyze your specific hormone and metabolic profile. We're going to identify exactly what's been blocking your progress. Okay. Once we do that, we're going to create a personalized 90-day roadmap for your body and ultimately figure out if this is a great fit, if you're a great fit for our program. And we only have 10 spots because I personally do each assessment with you. Okay. It's the first come, first serve. All right. So I'm going to give a quick minute because I've been holding in my bladder for the past 40 minutes. I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes to scan the QR code. And then I'm gonna come back and then I'm gonna share with you guys how you're gonna get all the exclusive bonuses. Okay, so I'll be back. Go ahead and scan the QR code. And yeah, we'll continue and wrap this up. Cool. Let me make sure. Alrighty, I'll be right back. All right, all right. I'm back. Cool. So hopefully you guys are able to complete that. If you qualify for the assessment, me or my team will reach out to you and we'll get that metabolic assessment done. As a thank you for attending and making it to the end of this call. And then as far as the details to getting all the freebies that I mentioned at the beginning of the call, all you have to do is message us special. So send me a DM on Instagram, or if you have my number on text, or send us an email, however you want to reach me at, just send that word and then we'll send you over all the bonus free resources. Okay. So That's all I have. I want to now open up the floor, 5, 10 minutes Q&A. I wasn't able to look at the chat. I think we had a couple of questions in here. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Would love to answer anything for you guys here before we wrap up the evening. So drop your questions in, or you can just unmute and ask me as well.
So there was one question in here going back to eating protein when you first wake up. Brandy was asking, when do you incorporate that upon waking? Because she's a night shift nurse. And she was saying that she'll usually take a couple hour nap before her shift. So maybe like 12 to 2 p.m., go to work at 7 p.m. If she works the next night again, then she'll try to sleep around 9 or 10 to 4, or if she's off, she'll take a nap from 10 to 2. So when would you recommend eating 40 grams of protein at that point?
That's a great question. For Brandy, I would definitely have 30 to 40 grams of protein right upon waking, where that's a 4 hour nap. I would definitely have it because you're going to actually go into your shift, and also having protein ready for after your shift as well. So think of your window like a fasting window, right? If you're working for 10 hours or sleeping for 10 hours, it's the same fasting window. That's the perfect time to implement some protein in there. 30 to 40 grams of protein should be a good target. But it also depends on your entire calories for the day as well, right? That's a great way to kind of start, but you also want to know what your total caloric intake is, what your total protein intake is, so that way you can meet that target. Because what's even more important than timing is your total intake for that day. Okay. And depending on what phase you're in, whether you're in a reverse dieting phase or a fat loss phase, that will determine how much you got to eat for the day.
Awesome.
Cool. Was it even if I'm eating a lunch before I'm not, should I eat right before, even if I'm not that hungry? That's a case by case. It's hard for me to answer that for you right now, Brandy. But the general answer is yes, a lot of the clients that we work with can't listen to their body's satiety signals yet because we're trying to fix all of that, right? And so most women that we work with, right, they're like, oh, I just don't eat because I'm just not hungry, right? But then we always say, we can't listen to your signals yet because think about it, your signals are all off. So we need to kind of reverse that. So sometimes you do have to eat even if you're not hungry or vice versa. So I would definitely recommend you to, jump on our metabolic assessments. We can take a deeper dive into really what's going on and figure out like a game plan for you. I see a question here from Angelica. How's it going? What are your favorite on-the-go protein options? I have a commute 1 hour every morning, so I typically have a protein shake. Protein shake is great. I'll send you over. Actually, one of our freebies is going to be like a quick protein snack list as well. So things like boiled eggs is a good one. I like to make protein smoothies. What else? Beef jerky are another good one. Chomps. You can easily bring with you. What else? Yeah, I have a whole checklist that I can send over to you as a freebie as well. Yep. Boiled eggs is great. Yeah, you can also use protein bars as well. I would try to get most of your protein from Whole Foods. So I would look at like your entire schedule and figure that out. So good question. Cool, cool. All right, we got another minute or two. Drop your questions. We'd love to answer since we're all already on here.
So, question,
What's up?
do we customize everything in this program? Because you know how nurses are busy, their schedules are unpredictable. Like, how can they fit this into their schedules?
That's a good question. So honestly, on our first call, we get their schedules in, okay? And schedules are always constantly changing. So that's why one-on-one coaching on the level that we do is so important because not only do their schedules change, right? But what happens when vacation comes up? What happens when you get sick? What happens when little Timmy, gets called out from school because he has the flu and now we're all like the whole family's down. What do we do to navigate that? That's where having like guidance, one-on-one guidance can help navigate that situation. And once you learn the skill of how to navigate those situations, then it becomes second nature. So it's case by case study, but yeah, we have all of our clients, right? Send them their work schedules. We program it in there for them. So that way it's, very simple and easy to do.
Yeah, that actually makes me think, what does that support actually look like then? Like general, like, for everybody, because obviously it's going to be customized for each person, but what's like a general idea of what the support would look like?
Yeah, I mean, the support is 24/7 access to a whole team. So you get your metabolic coach, and then you also get the community. So we all meet every 2 weeks to talk about topics like metabolism, right? Some of the challenges we're all facing with. So now you're a part of a community of other women just like you excelling at fat loss, metabolism, energy, just growth, right? And then you have every 4 weeks, you have an accountability call, right? So that we can go over your roadmap, make sure you're feeling excited, make any big adjustments, and continue on. That's the key to this that I feel like so many women miss is because they're aiming in the dark, right? And so they're not only are they wasting time, but they're actually putting themselves back in a position where they're only making it harder time over time. And so the reason why, honestly, that we want to do this webinar and do this masterclass is so that we don't have to have women come to us after 6 months, a year of trial and error, doing all the wrong things, and then we have to reverse all of that, right? So it's better to start early, and once you get it done, you get a body that works with you, it just becomes easier to maintain in the long run.
Yeah. And
Cool.
then how do you even know this program is right for you? Because there's so many programs out there,
Yep.
so many coaches to choose from. So like, why is this one good for nurses?
Yeah, this one's good because I mean, we've worked with over 150 nurses up until this point, so we really understand that. We have an amazing nurse on hand that's honestly our head coach as leading majority of our women with their health journeys, aka Miss Jen Witchman here. So honestly, we have a full team that's dedicated to this, and that's why we do our metabolic assessments first, because we don't just bring on anyone to our program. We got to make sure that we're a great fit, that they're mentally ready, that we can honestly give them the best results possible before we bring them on. If not, then we'll refer them out. We'll help them out in any way I can. So yeah, we work with a very specific group of women. Cool. Well, it hits 7 p.m. I just want to say appreciate everybody for jumping on. Hopefully you've gotten a lot of value. I had a lot of fun doing this. And remember, just go ahead and send me the message if you want the free resources. I'll send you over the recording as well. And if you guys need anything, follow me, follow both of us on Instagram, actually. If you haven't already. We also have a podcast. I also have a podcast as well with a ton of content on there. Honestly, if you go through the podcast and you look through the videos, you're going to learn a ton on a lot of things we're talking about here. So let me just drop the link real quick and I'll drop the Spotify link for you guys here. Alrighty, cool. Dropped it. I'll see you guys. Have a good evening. Thanks for joining.